Joining us now to talk about the war is Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for the time.
Thank you. Good to be with you, Brett.
First of all, give us your assessment of where things are. We understand that IDF forces are inside Gaza, inside and around Gaza City. Where do you see this at this hour?
I think the Israeli army is performing exceptionally well. It's fighting the terrorists, both above ground and below ground. We're doing everything in our power to reduce civilian casualties. We've managed safe zones and safe corridors so civilians can heed our call to leave, even though Hamas is trying to keep them in. And I think the war is proceeding well. We're going to continue until we eradicate Hamas. Nothing will stop that. We're absolutely committed to victory, which is not only our victory, but it's the victory of the entire civilized world against barbarism. Oh, it's there, but we'll get there.
To get those leaders, how long do you envision this being? Will it be an occupation of Gaza for months and months?
Well, first of all, we don't seek to govern Gaza. We don't seek to occupy it, but we seek to give it and us a better future in the entire Middle East. And that requires defeating Hamas. I've set goals. I didn't set a timetable because it can take more time. I wish it'll take little time. But we're proceeding step by step, reducing our casualties in the process, trying to reduce and minimize civilian casualties and maximize the casualties of the Hamas terrorists. And so far, I think it's proceeding well. But again, this is a war aim. You fought ISIS, you fought Al-Qaeda. It took you a long time. I don't think it'll take us that long by any stretch of the imagination. But however long it takes, we'll do it because our future, the future of our neighbors, the future of the Palestinians, the future of the world, I think, is related to who wins. Does the axis of terror of Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, do they win? Or do the forces of progress and prosperity, Israel, the United States, the modern Arab states, do we win? It's important that we win. And, history has shown that, it doesn't necessarily favor the good guys over the bad guys. If the bad guys have more will, more resolve, more staying power, then they win. And they can cast the Middle East and the world into another period of dark ages. That's where they want. Well, we don't want it. So we have the perseverance, the will, and the resolve to win, however long it takes. But I'll assure you, we'll try to make it as short as we can.
How firm has the push been by President Biden and his administration for these humanitarian pauses? And what have you agreed to?
Well, one thing we haven't agreed to is a ceasefire. A ceasefire with Hamas means surrender to Hamas, surrender to terror, and the victory of Iran's axis of terror. So there won't be a ceasefire without the release of Israeli hostages. That's not going to happen. But we have agreed and have done already safe corridors. 2 days ago, 50,000 people passed from Gaza City down to the south, to the safe zone, in a safe corridor. Today, I think another 70,000 have passed. That's very important because we want to get the civilians out of harm's way while Hamas is trying to stop them. 2 days ago, it actually fired upon this safe passage to prevent Palestinian civilians from leaving. That's the enemy we're dealing with. Not only do they murder, mutilate, rape, and murder women, burn children alive, take hostages of toddlers, babies, elderly, Holocaust survivors, the worst savagery perpetrated on the Jewish people since the Holocaust. Not only do they do that, but they actually target their own civilians. That is, they want to keep their civilians as a human shield. So obviously it's a tough enemy, but I think we can overcome them.